Hi, Tom here with this week's Circle Line Art School Drawing Challenge. How to draw the interior of the Paris Opera House. Basically, it's how to draw one way of drawing a complex looking interior using one-point perspective in a simple step-by-step way. So the best way to start is to start at the beginning with the basic structure for this drawing. And for this drawing we can use one-point perspective because we're looking straight ahead at an interior space. You could think of it a bit like looking into a simple box straight ahead at the bottom of the box. The first step is to draw a horizontal line, which is the line that shows the height of the eye of the viewer of the image, and it's also the line which parallel lines, they'll meet on this line at a single point on this horizon line, and this point where they meet is the vanishing point, and that will be in the center of the line because we're looking straight ahead. Before we mark where this vanishing point is, we can draw the back wall of the interior, of the basic box shape of the interior. Make sure the horizon line crosses through towards the base of this rectangle of the back of the box, which should be in the middle of your page. The rectangle should be in the middle of your page. Next, draw a cross in the center of your horizon line to mark the single vanishing point, which shows the direction in which we're looking into this sort of box-like shape, and we only need one vanishing point, and that means it's 1-point perspective because there's only one, because we're looking straight ahead. And from this cross, this vanishing point, we can draw 4 lines, and each of the lines needs to touch one of the corners of the rectangle, and then the line just keeps going, as it were. In this way we have made an image, hopefully, which looks like we're looking into a basic box in 1-point perspective. Now we can divide the back wall of this box, as it were, with some structure of columns and floor heights that we will need, and some semicircles at the top. These structural shapes are just flat shapes at the moment. They don't have any illusion of depth. We can add that later. So we can just draw some vertical and then some horizontal lines at the back. And at the top we can divide this space into 3 semicircles, which will be useful later on. When you are ready to add the depth of the structures at the back, we need to use the vanishing point for all of the lines, all of the diagonal lines, which show how these shapes recede away from us. Once you have some of these receding lines that look like they're all going sort of deeper away from us than the back of the box, so they're sort of further back than the back of the box shape, we can then choose how far back they go and just use vertical and horizontal lines to show how far back they go, to show how far they recede. So we don't want them receding too far, so it's sort of a shallow space at the back of the box. So in this way the drawing starts to look complicated, but in actual fact it's really quite basic, but hopefully the lines are roughly in the right place. Next up, we can draw some vertical lines on the left and the right, and a few more lines coming from the vanishing point, going left and going right. And then draw two lines, one either side on the left and on the right, going down at an angle sort of towards the horizon line in the middle, and these two lines are for the sides of the stairs. Now we can draw these stairs coming forward to us as well, as they sort of join up. So they start on the left and the right, and then they join up and then come forward. And as these stairs come forward, they'll get wider because they're getting nearer, getting bigger, because obviously things look bigger when they're near us and look further away as they recede towards the horizon line, towards the vanishing point. At this stage, we have some of the basic structure in place for this drawing. We have the back wall drawn in with some depth to it, and we have the side walls have some basic structural lines on them. And then we have this sort of extravagant stairs sort of blocked in. So it's time to add a bit of detail on top of this sort of structure. But much of the detail in this drawing is in fact quite simple shapes, which are just repeated, because I'm not going to draw all the actual tiny little details. I'm just going to simplify the details, but repeat them. And by repeating them, it will look hopefully like there's a lot more detail than there really is. Now, it would be nice to add some people in this drawing, so it's not just an empty hallway in an opera house. We just need to draw some simple sketches of people. They're quite small sketches, and that will make the interior of the opera house look a lot bigger if the people are quite small. And if the people that you draw are quite sketch-like, quite a loose drawing, that would probably be better than putting in too much detail, because if you put too much detail, they need to look different to the building. So if they're a bit looser in style, that will probably help. As you draw the people, just these simple sketches of people, they'll obviously get smaller as they go further back into the box, into the opera house space. So they'll get really small by the time they're at the top of the stairs. And in the boxes at the very back and the back wall, there'll be some people even smaller there. For my drawing, I think I want to add lots of people, so there is an impression of a crowd rather than any real detail. I think it's easier to draw lots of people than just one or two, because if you draw one or two people, then they might get too much focus on them. Whereas if you just sketch in lots of people, it's sort of easier to make it seem like a crowd. I'm using a 4B pencil for this drawing, so it's a soft pencil that gets nice and dark. I'll definitely add some shading to make the drawing look more dramatic, an interior of the Paris Opera House in the evening. So there's sort of lights coming from different sources, but not from the sun. It's coming from lamps and lights which are off the image. I hope you like this video and this drawing challenge, and maybe have a go at doing a drawing like this. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, please click the button and subscribe. And please visit circlelineartschool.com to learn more about my online drawing courses.